Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday to all. Happy Frozen Frenzy. That's right. The Frozen Frenzy. Tonight, led by the Flyers. We'll get into it in a second. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Go to TrueMark.com/PHLY to find out about the credit union difference. Well, it is a fun night. We're going to get into Eagles. Bo Wolf's going to join us about a half hour, right? So we'll get into the birds with Bo. A lot of happening around in the NFL. Baldi joins us at 10. There was a couple of big injuries. You could actually, and this is hard. Let me just give the PSA here. Never love it. Never look forward to injuries, right? For any team. Bad karma. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night lost both their receivers. Mike Evans first with a hamstring. And then in the waning moments of that game last night, that is one of the worst injuries that you'll ever want to see. Which is a team, has no chance coming back, but you want to play it out. You never know, right? So Buccaneers are down big. They're trying to come back. They score a touchdown, right? They do an onside kick. They get the onside kick. And then, oh, man, they throw the ball. Baker Mayfield throws a deep crosser to Chris Godwin, and he snaps his ankle. It was just awful. Awful. You could see it, and they wound up. Joe Buck said we're not showing the replay, and he's done for the year. There's nothing worse than losing a great player at the end of a game where it becomes meaningless. That's why you just wave a white flag. There's a lesson. At some point, you got to wave the white flag and not worry about whether it's Saquon trying to get extra yards. Right, like you just don't want to chance things. And last night, Chris Godwin out. That'll just cross off the Buccaneers. Tampa's done. There's no way they could survive without both their receivers. Evans is going to be out for a while, and then Godwin's a huge loss, man. Huge loss for them. So you could cross them off the list, and suddenly, with the Eagles winning and going to 4-2, suddenly you're back, right? Like you're back in the teeth of the playoffs, not just for the division, but it'll open up things for a potential wild card as well. Obviously, the North is fantastic, but they're all going to play each other, right? So they'll cannibalize each other, and that's going to bring the Eagles alive in the wild card as well. So that piece of it looks good. We'll get to the birds coming up in a little bit. First, today is a fun day, right? ESPN is doing the Frozen Frenzy, and they got Flyers to kick things off. Flyers Caps. This is a blast, right? So all 32 teams are going to be in action tonight. It's a great idea. So in college basketball, they do the 24 hours of college hoops. This is similar. So the Flyers start at 6. And then Minnesota, Florida at 6:30. Tampa, the Devils, 6:45. Stars, Sabres at 7. And then every game starts at 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, all the way down to 11 o'clock, Kings and Golden Knights. So you got every team in action all night tonight. It's a great hockey night. It really is. I'm actually looking forward to the Frozen Frenzy tonight, led by Flyers and Capitals. A lot of fun, man. Like, that stuff's great. This is where we get the integration of all four sports, because tonight is the start of the NBA season as well. Celtics Knicks gets us started. Wow, man. And then the Lakers, right? Doubleheader in the NBA and the Frozen Frenzy. It's cool because these other sports now come into play. The World Series begins Friday. So this is where we have the confluence of all four major sports, which is it's my favorite time of the year. and this will be great. Let's look at, and I'm going to start the show off by looking at both the NBA and the NHL, because listen, I love it. Right, the NBA starts off tonight, and I hear the whole thing. And do I think that the regular season is antiquated or half meaningless? Yeah, I get it. I do. Like, in a perfect world, they should probably start at Christmas, pare the season down to 62 games, and go from there. They're never going to do that, so you're never going to give up inventory. So let's look at the league itself. I think the league is fun. Like, I still love it. I still think it's got. I'm in on it every night. The playing tournament doesn't really do much for me, but I love the league itself. I do. I have to admit. Like, I'm excited for the NBA to tip off. We were talking about it yesterday with Devon, and I know, like, look at the Sixers, right? Wednesday night, tomorrow night is the opener for the Sixers, and you're probably going to have no Joe, no Paul George, and that's just how it's going to be, right? There's going to be a lot of load management, a lot of rest, and I know that gets on all of our nerves, including mine. But it's still, I still think the league is fun, and I think the league will get better. I think the NIL, there's a story, we were talking about it yesterday, that the number one player in high school is looking for $8 million a year to play in college, which will be more than the minimum that you can make as a rookie in the NBA. Now, people automatically, I had this conversation with my father. He's like, I think it's getting out of hand with college football and college basketball, and these kids getting paid this kind of money. And he's like, listen, I'm all for compensation, but it's getting absurd. I hear that argument because I've heard it from many people, and I get it. However, I think, first of all, I think they deserve to be paid and be paid real money because of where we are in sports in this country. And college football and college basketball generate so much revenue that the players need to be compensated, man. Like, they just do. And it provides a whole nother kind of, I think, ecosystem where if you're a quarterback and you're good, college quarterback, but maybe not a great NFL quarterback, you'll be able to make money now, and the stress of making the playing in the NFL or the NBA, if it's not there, it's not the end of the world. It's a great head start in life for these young people. I think it's a good thing. I also think there'll be a trickle-down effect that makes the league better. I think the longer the kids stay in school, right, or stay in college programs, let's call it what they are, as long as they stay in the college program, the better the league becomes. The biggest issue with the NBA over the years, including the dearth of talent, has been kids that are just not ready, and they come into the league stunted, and they're never, a lot of guys never can really make up that loss of time, of growth. Some guys do it later in their careers. I think about Lou Williams, who came in the league as a high school player and, banged around, was here, and then he really started to come into his own as a super six man, the whole thing. But that comes with time. So the beauty of having the athletes stay in school or stay at the college program at that level is that they hone their craft, they hone their games, they become mature. And that just makes the league better because now they're coming in as better players. Now, all of a sudden, if you got a 4-year, let's take basketball, you got a 4-year basketball or 5-year basketball player, all of a sudden they're coming in the league as a man. Right? And they're coming into the league ready to contribute, which then makes the league better, makes the league deeper. I think it's good. I think it's good for both college football and college basketball. So it's good for the NFL and the NBA with the trickle-down effect. I love where we're headed and where we're at. I just think it makes the product that much better. All right, let's bat it around because I'm looking around and I know two other guys that are geeked up for the Frozen Frenzy.
Let's go.
There they are.
We need some organs.
You got to, let's go Flyers.
Yeah, there's some organs ready for this.
So, you have an organ?
I can find one.
Yeah, get it an organ. Get a goal set.
Hobbing the gear.
Give me an organ and give me a goal horn. We were talking about this Friday with Mike Garofalo and the chant. Let's go fly.
Yeah.
So he was right. He said the new chant is "Let's go Flyers, let's go Flyers, let's go." Where the old chant is "Let's go Flyers." Da, 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 da. That's the better chant.
Of course.
Right? Are you guys ready? Geeked up for the frozen frenzy?
It's so much fun. ESPN's doing such a great job with this. It's a smart idea. I love it. I'm all in. I like that the Flyers kick it off. They got like on their page, they got bubbles of why you should watch each team tonight.
Dude.
And here's the Flyers. Haven't had an offensive rookie as talented as Michkov since Giroux arrived on the scene. It could be argued they haven't had an offensive rookie this hype since Eric Lindros. He's already shown flashes of dynamic offense. Fans are buying jersey before he's even played a preseason game. There's going to be a learning curve for the Phenom, but curmudgeonly coach John Tortorella has said he doesn't plan on crushing that creativity. Quote, I'm not interested in turning him into a checker. We are starving for the types of instinctive plays he can make. So yeah, man. Like, okay, this is good.
Yeah, I like it.
I wish it was a little chillier. It's like 80 degrees. We're starting hockey season.
Dude.
I'll be honest with you. It'll get cold soon enough. I'm enjoying
Just
it.
a little chill.
Nah, I'm all right.
68 be okay.
It'll be 68 Thursday.
All right.
It'll be 65 Thursday.
Some crisp wind.
Yeah, like I love the autumn wind.
Ice. The ice will be sluggish because of the heat.
It's all right, dude. It's fine. I love the whole concept. My only tweak would be start in the afternoon. And
that would be nice. Afternoon hockey.
Yeah, I mean, on a Tuesday afternoon,
Of course. Yeah.
like I would stagger all the games, and in this way, you could play all and see them all in their entirety.
This is why you should just start a business as a commissioner consultant for the 4 leagues.
I would love
Just
to
meet
do
with
that.
them yearly or like every 6 months, set them straight on what they're doing and how to improve it.
Half of my ideas have come to fruition.
I know. That's why I say this.
That'd be so
I
funny.
started with the whole, when it comes to the NFL schedule, Christmas. I was a big believer. I saw that last night they did the whole Netflix Christmas special.
Yep.
It's a new tradition. Like the NFL's the greatest, man. They just went, oh yeah, NBA, we're taking Christmas Day.
It's nice what you've been doing with
No,
the
no.
pat on the head.
Yeah.
Not today.
We're taking Christmas Day,
Dude.
and it's what it is, man. I love it. And Netflix is brilliant because Christmas Day and show Christmas movies, and they go right into football, man.
Of course.
I mean, that's what it is.
A little Christmas story, then go right into some NBA basketball.
Yeah, some
I'm
good
better than
food.
that. Oh,
The NFL. That's right.
Nice turkey.
I don't like the turkey. Yeah.
yeah, dude. I love that, man. We are not leaving our couch tonight.
Now, see, that's the new chant.
Okay.
All right?
That was
I
good,
like the
Frazier.
old chant.
Yeah.
Like the
No.
classic. Electro chant. Oh, that's a great goal. The greatest traditions of all sports, right? There's no sport that has traditions like that.
No.
Like a goal horn is one of the greatest things in the world. Like I was watching when the Buccaneers scored a touchdown last night, the cannon, right?
Yes.
I hate Tampa,
Dude,
by the
it's
way.
terrible.
Right? But the cannon's kind of cool.
I like
You
the
like the cannon?
Yeah, I do.
like the
Oh,
cannon.
I'm not on the cannon.
I'm pro cannon. Listen, anytime you can shoot a cannon is a good idea.
Is it A&M in college who does it? One of
Yes.
those college
Yeah.
teams do it too.
The cannon is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
big
how come you don't
fan.
like the cannon?
A lot left to be desired for me with the cannon.
Before the game
Really?
as well,
Yeah.
like the psychological effect before the
We're
game.
going to
is
shoot
like,
a cannon.
I'm trying to think.
You're sitting there hearing that loud bang. Like,
See, I love that
scary.
stuff. Like, I like the ancillary things
Okay.
that get me excited. Like the bell.
I
Like,
like the
love a
bell.
bell. Like the bell,
the bell.
ring the bell.
Love the bell.
Ring the bell's a great idea,
I love that.
right?
Yeah, as soon as you hear
I
it,
like
it's gotta
the-
be a good bell. We got a good bell here.
We do have a good bell. I like the Sixers ring the bell before the
Yeah, I
tip
like
off.
ringing the bell, yeah.
Like that's all good, right? Like I'm a big bell, and that's what we should do. Tampa, because of the pirate ship, do you do the cannon like that? Like they should do stuff like that. Before every game, every place.
You do the dum fly, Eagles fly.
Yeah.
That's our thing.
Yeah.
Singing the song after every.
Yeah.
But in the NFL, there are some bad ones because, like in Miami, they do the Dolphin sound.
Horrible.
The worst was in Tennessee watching the Eagles and Titans because they do hoo 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 hoo, and I don't understand what's the hooting. What are you hooting for? You guys are Titans.
I know. It's not, New Orleans is cool.
What do they? I've never
because
seen.
they do the who dat.
That's cool.
Who dat's cool.
Yeah, that's
right.
cool.
But the other ones, a lot of them are Mickey.
So Frazier, the Buccaneers big amongst the Ren Fair crowd with the Pirates and the Cannons.
Oh, I would assume.
Yeah,
Buccaneers, Raiders, I mean, I'm sure.
It's like life goals for the Ren Fair Pirates to be able to get on that ship and shoot a cannon.
From the middle of England, the English countryside.
Yeah.
You'd think you're at the Ren Fair at the game. All those people are dressed up like pirates.
No,
It's pretty-
no. It's not even just pirates.
Jack everywhere.
They're creating Transformer costumes.
They don't go. That doesn't go.
Captain Jack.
You're mixing your metaphors. Come on, bro. You were your Renaissance fair. Took me a second when you went Ren Fair. What the hell's a Ren Fair? I know Renaissance.
That's what us cool kids call it.
I know that's what you guys call it.
That's the slang.
I mean, football games have kind of, especially the fans, some of them have turned it into a Ren Fair the way they've been dressing.
Yeah, whatever. I've never been a big play dress up for football games, but I think that's the color. I got
John Piece is saying the Ravens do the Eagles chant with their name now, like RAVENS.
It's a ripoff.
It is.
By the way. Wow, they're good.
They might be good.
Oh.
How do you
Tony
stop
the
that
ref hit me up
backfield?
last night and said, dude, how could the Eagles use that Baltimore offense? I went through. He goes, they got all the weapons. I go, they're missing the big one, which is Lamar. Lamar's ridiculous. He became such a great quarterback.
He has.
He's got a great arm. He knows what he's looking at. Knows how to run an offense. And then you add Henry.
Yeah.
Fat guy. All right, because they made the point last night on the game. But where does Derrick Henry live?
Dude, how does Dallas?
Dallas. He lives in Dallas. How in the world did those stupid Cowboys, that guy, right, not go after Derrick Henry? You got no running game, right? You have no running back. You get rid of Pollard, let him walk, right? All right. And Derrick Henry's in your backyard, and you don't even make a call.
You go Zeke, baby. Go back to
You go
Zeke.
back to that slob. Oh, get out! I love it.
It's terrible.
I'm looking at this contract too. It's a 2-year, $16 million contract.
Yeah.
Guaranteed $9 million.
Did you see
$9
him?
million guaranteed.
Did you see him his breakaway last night?
Yeah.
The breakaway speed twice.
I don't understand that.
Oh my God, he's a locomotive.
And he'll run over like 3 dudes too, and then still run like that. Like that's
He's ridiculous.
crazy.
All right, but let me get back to this thing here because I want to do the winter sports for a second because it's a big night. Frozen Frenzy and the NBA tips off tonight. So I'll ask you, as I'm staring at the Flyer hats, NBA.
Yeah.
Are you in on the league, on the association? I'll start with you.
I'm lukewarm. I like the game. I really tune in like right around Christmas time. I'll start getting into it. I'll watch the Sixers, but as far as league-wise,
no, I'm talking league because everybody. We're all in on our local 4 for 4.
Yeah.
But I'm talking league because tonight's tip-off. Like it's funny. My cousin and I are like separated at birth, right? I mean, well, we are. We're like we share a brain, and like I know he's watching. Like there's no doubt. At some point tonight, I'll text him. And he'll be watching the game, and I'll be watching the game. And it's something about the NBA. It'll be post Flyers, right? I'll be diving into Celtics, Knicks, and I love it. And what is it about it? Is it just too early now, or is it the league itself is not because the regular season is devalued?
Yeah, you never know who's playing. It's never like teams are at full strength.
Load management.
It seems devalued. It seems kind of meaningless at the end of everything. I don't know. Like tonight, if I had to choose between a late night hockey NBA game and NHL, I'll probably lean NHL game.
Yeah.
Well, I know you'll go NHL, right, JP?
Yeah, I'll go NHL.
And listen, I love the West Coast NHL. Like I'm in on that.
Well, that's the thing. West Coast NHL is just so good.
Yeah, it's
such a
great stuff.
product.
But I click back and forth. Like I'll go back and forth. I'll watch the game and I'll go to the other game, and so I'm in, and I'll go back and forth. But I love it, and it's funny. A lot of times I use my friends, and that we grew up together, and it's a great cross section. Like Toots hates the NBA, like he'll be all hockeyed up, right? Like
Why is he at the NBA?
Hates it, hates the NBA.
He's like the old school NBA.
Yes, loves the old school.
I know
NBA.
exactly where he's at.
The new school, he's out.
Yeah,
It feels a little. The regular season feels a little too easy.
It is.
Too easy to score. Like playoff basketball is intense.
Playoff basketball is like playoff.
Yes.
Baseball.
So it feels borderline like an all-star game, even though now their all-star game is crazy. But it feels like when we're watching an all-star game we grew up watching.
Yeah.
Like,
what makes the NBA so great is because it's the best sport for entertainment. They know how to create a storyline, and they always bring the drama. Look at the times that we talk about the most. It's the off season and it's the playoffs because you have those storylines and everyone's captivated by it.
Well, it's weird though. You're right. You're exactly right. It's like they embrace social media better than any other sport. But I like the sport. Like I like the game. The drama piece of it, I don't care less. Like who's beefing with who. I thought that does nothing for me. I like watching the game. Like I do. I like watching players. I've always liked watching players. So I'm kind of out on drama, but I like the game. I've always, whatever sport it is, I enjoy the game, right? So hockey, like tonight will be fun, especially the West Coast games, and then I'll have the basketball and I'll go back and forth and watch it all. But I get where I think a lot of you guys are, which is like, again, my cross section. My cousin loves it. My buddy Boo loves it. Tooch hates it. Vinny hates it. He hates
me
all.
And Tooch gotta hang out.
He hates all modern day sports. Anybody have a friend, right?
How old is he? Like our age?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So he'll be like, every reference is from 1982, right? 1987. Every other thing sucks, right? I'm like, nah, dude, it's good. Like, nah, it stinks, right? Everything sucks. You and Tooch will be watching the NHL.
Yeah, tune back every now and then.
Right, and I love it. So I'm clicking, getting it all in.
And it's out of my DNA. Like, I mean, I'm a hoop kid. I was taller. That's what I excelled at.
Right.
I play hours and hours just dribbling basketballs. Love it, man. Playing
You're
in
a college
school.
guy, though.
I love the college game. Yeah,
but let me ask you this, right? Because we're talking about it. The concept of college players being paid the way it's going, I think the trickle-down effect is great. I think the league, I used to always say this, that players are coming out early 1 year, right out of high school, 1 year, then the rule changes 1 year, 2 years. They're half-baked pies. They're not mature, right? Their bodies aren't mature. Their games aren't mature. Mm-hmm. So they're like taking a pie out of the oven, half-baked.
Yep.
And ultimately, that's not going to taste good.
No, and the games hurt. I'm for them getting paid. I kind of wish they'd sign a contract now. Like, if you're going to pay me, I'm going to come for 2 years. I think that's fair enough.
Well, it makes sense. So if you're going to make money, right, like legit money, well, then why wouldn't you stay for 4 years?
Well, because it's not legit money.
Well,
I mean, a first round pick is guaranteed like $30 million.
No, but the minimum, I don't know the exact number, but the league minimum is not, No,
I mean, if you're a first round pick, you're guaranteed 5-year contract, right? So you're making some cash.
Yeah, but you in college, especially if you guys are like this one kid's coming out, he's a wonder kid. He's looking for $80 a year.
Yeah, I think at some point they just say go to the G League then and get your.
Well, the G League doesn't exist. Like that whole thing's dead.
Yeah, well, this really killed it.
Yeah,
sure.
like that, which I love.
Yeah.
I hated the G League.
I mean, the one and done has kind of. It hasn't been good for either college basketball or pro basketball.
No,
you're right.
Because what made college,
it's good for the players, which it should be. I mean, they need to be compensated.
Exactly, and that's why now. What made college great, college basketball, is when guys stayed for 4 years.
You get a rivalry.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And program. There was familiarity. Yeah. See, what makes sports, I always believe this, it's familiarity with names. Like, you got to know the names. You got to be into it. Know the teams. He's with like I could still, to this day, college basketball from the 80s and 90s is etched in my brain, right? So if I said to you, St. John's in the 90s, like automatically,
Chris
Chris Mullen,
Lou Carnesecca.
right, Walter
Wow, that's a great
Berry.
name.
Like
Yeah.
these guys come to mind, right? Like go through the whole Big East.
Yeah.
Go to Carolina, ACC, and
Mr.
Duke,
Big
like
East.
all those things. But those kids stayed.
Yeah.
And then you got to know them and you understood who they were and you look forward to it. And it made a lot of sense. I'm hoping that this new fiscal kind of world we're in has the trickle-down effect where they're going to stay.
I just wish. My only thing is I do want it to get regulated more. And like we talked with Sean Patton about this, about
Sean Patton's our guy
Yeah.
who's runs Nebraska football. He's the GM at Nebraska football.
I mean, it feels like a jungle trying to negotiate with some of these players. I mean, we talked about Devonta too. I mean, that's insane. $8 to $9 mil for a kid who is just coming into college.
I mean,
I think it just needs to. There needs to be some more regulation.
The
That's my
West, the
thing.
Wild West. I mean, that's
Exactly.
what it is right now. The only thing that can change it is Congress. Is the only way that's going to get changed. But I think it's good. I love college football. Like college football right now is incredible.
It is. It got me back. I want to go back to those days of college basketball. My first year of college basketball, J.J. Redick and Adam Morrison ran college basketball, and I knew them very well going in the NBA draft, and we lost that. You go into these NBA drafts now, you probably know one, maybe two prospects. Back then, you knew all the lottery picks.
Yeah.
That's
I
not that
know.
anymore.
Well, it's funny, right? The Lakers are playing tonight.
Right.
So who am I watching tonight?
The rookie of the year.
Dalton Connect.
Yeah.
How many,
Right?
how many does he drop tonight?
All that.
How many does he drop tonight?
I don't know. I mean, it's regular season, right? So it's different. It's not like he'll get run.
I'll say it. I put his over under at like 11 and a half.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think it'll be lower, about 8. But can I see him hitting 3 threes? Maybe.
Yeah.
But the reason why, my only point is, the reason why Dalton Connect is because he stayed at Tennessee. He was there. He stayed. He didn't come out early. So you know who he is. You watched him in the tournament. You saw what kind of player he was.
And when you look at
There's recognition.
When you look at Quinyon Mitchell, I mean, he's a polished player. He did his 4 years. So he's great, but there's a reason he's
Football you
transitioned so
have
smoothly.
to.
Yeah.
See, football to me, you got to do your 4 years, at least 3, right? Like because your body's just not is not mature enough to play in the NFL.
But look at women's basketball. Take that sample of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. They stayed there. They built a rivalry, and then they went off into and then the WNBA, and it continued on. And it's a great sample, and that's hopefully what they can do with men's college basketball.
Yeah,
It's the same
I
thing.
agree. I agree, Frazier. I do. I'm with you. All right, lots to get to today.
Yeah.
We got our man Bo Wolf coming up. We'll talk some birds with Bo. We got Baldi, and we got Devon to talk some association. Look forward to that as well. All right, let me tell you about Primo Hoagies. We're perfect time of the year, right? I mean, this is it. I just want the days to slow down. So you got all these games going on, or you're going to have gatherings. Weather's perfect. So how about some Primo Hoagies for the party, right? Any party you have, tailgate, watch parties, you got to go to the perfect Philadelphia food, Primo Hoagies. They're just like the original. I'm telling you, I was a customer at the original. We loved it. 1992 was the first one that opened on Rittner Street, and today it's the same taste. It's the great Thuman meats and cheeses piled high on that fresh bread, that seeded roll, baked in store every couple hours. Fantastic, man. It really is the greatest. Also, download the new Primo Hoagies app. Still have time for the promotion where you can win free hoagies for a year. Primo Hoagies. Go to primohoagies.com, order the tray, right, for the parties. You got the desserts, the whole thing. And then you'll say what I always say, it's not just a hoagie, it's a Primo.
Hey, man, it's still allergy season, but you know what's coming? Flu season and all kinds of other seasons. So Rite Aid's got you covered to get some vaccines to protect yourself and your family by staying up to date on your immunizations. And Rite Aid pharmacists are specially trained, certified immunizers, and most vaccines are no cost with insurance or through government plans like Medicare Part D. So you can get vaccinated against all kinds of stuff: pneumonia, tetanus, whooping cough, chickenpox. RSV is a big one, highly contagious virus that affects the respiratory tract and common in young kids. Causes cold-like symptoms and serious lung infections can happen in infants and older adults. COVID-19 is still swirling around. I got 2 friends with it right now. They're hunkered down and Ready's got your vaccines for everyone age 5 or older. And those dreaded shingles. You know, if you've had chickenpox, you are at risk of shingles. Super painful. 1 in 3 people in the U.S. will have shingles in their lifetime. If you had
my
chickenpox,
cousin.
you are at
Cousin
risk.
Joey had it.
More than 99% of Americans born in or before 1980 had chickenpox, so you are at risk. Select Rite Aid stores have dedicated pharmacists ready to administer vaccines and answer all your questions. Have questions on your immunizations you need, or you're not sure if you're up to date, or you're feeling nervous, just ask these guys questions or ladies questions. They're there for you. A Rite Aid pharmacist will take the time to make personalized recommendations based on your health history and discuss any concerns. No questions are too small. Just walk in or schedule an appointment Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. State, age, and health restrictions may apply. Ask a Rite Aid pharmacist for more details.
All right, buddy. This portion of the program brought to you by the Bet Parks Sportsbook and online casino app. Download it right now. Have some fun with it. All right. We got our man. Let's go to him right now from the PHLY Eagles show. Does such a great job. We love him. Friend of the program. Not just a co-worker. He's a buddy. He's the great Bo Wolf. Good morning, Bo.
Yeah, Bo.
Good morning. Here we do. How we doing?
And he's my neighbor.
You guys are neighbors. I mean, you guys
Goddamn right.
share a local, right?
Yeah.
You're a new wave guy. You guys are
every
hanging out.
morning. We walk around waving my dog, walking my dog, saying hello. Good morning, Bo. He's like, oh, good morning, BG. It's great.
On the way to drop the kids off. Oh yeah, it's the best part of my day.
It is. Taking the kids to school is a gift. I took mine
agree
to
with that.
school. I took mine to school this morning.
It's weird. It doesn't seem like if I see these parents yelling and pulling their kids.
Well, you
got
got to get them out of the house. Right? Getting them out of the house. Look at Johnny Marks. Johnny Marks he's bundled up like it's the Arctic.
Well, he's got
my
strep
God.
throat or something, doesn't he?
Well, Johnny, are you sick? I
Yeah,
saw the
yeah.
whole family. He's got a coat on.
He's got a sweater.
Might be a heated coat.
Yeah, my God, it's hot.
Trying to break a sweat in here.
My God. All right, let's get to the birds, Bo. Big picture. Let's go big picture first. 4-2, and all of a sudden, you look around the landscape of the NFC, and it's horrible, but Tampa, you can cross them off the list. Losing Chris Godwin, and he's done for the year. Evans has a hamstring thing. That was a terrible loss for them. The North is great, but at some point they're going to play each other and start to cannibalize one another. So it kind of leaves 2 paths. The division, don't forget with Washington, Jaden Daniels out 1 to 2 weeks with the rib. And then, the wild card's is still in play as well.
Yeah, I mean, like if you were probably like stack ranking the 7 best teams in the conference, all 4 teams in the NFC North would make the playoffs, right? But as you say, they're going to have to play each other, and so somebody's going to drop off a little bit. Those other 2 divisions, the West and the South, as you talked about, not looking so hot, and so it's possible that the Eagles and Washington and maybe Dallas will fight for a wild card spot too. But yeah, I think there is an opening. I think Detroit certainly looks like the best team right now.
Yeah.
Minnesota is pretty good. I would say better than the Eagles, but after that, there's an opening.
So where are you at with them? How good are they? I mean, I think the question from a lot of the fan base is, and look, that was a good win on Sunday, 28-3, Saquon Bowl. It was that part of it was great, but I think there's still people look at it a little side eye, going, just how good are they? Are they a real contender, right? Or are they just a playoff contender? Where are they?
Personally, I am skeptical that they are a real contender at this point. I'm going to need to see it against a higher quality of opponent, and I'm very curious to see how they look this week in Cincinnati against a desperate Cincinnati team that has a very good offense, and I think it's going to be a good test for the defense. I think my big picture thought on where the Eagles stand right now is that it's sort of a matter of expectations. I don't think we're going to see the 2022 Eagles with this high-powered offense that can answer all kinds of questions and a defense that can front run. I think right now they have to play a very specific type of way. And it's not necessarily all leaning on the run game, but it's leaning a little bit on the run game, making things a little bit more defined for Jalen Hurts, trying to take advantage of the fact that you have A.J. Brown one of the best players in the entire league, and he can win a lot of one-on-one matchups. And they have to sort of thread that narrow thread. I do believe that the defense, I believe a little bit more in the defense relative to how they played the first quarter of the season than I do the offense. I think it seems like things are coming together a little bit. I don't know that I believe that the pass rush will be quite as dominant as it has been the last 2 weeks. I think they're in for a bit of a comeback, but I think what you're seeing in the back seven as they sort of come together and get more comfortable in the scheme, passing things off, I think there was reason for real optimism there.
Especially the secondary. I love those kids. Mitchell and DeJean, I think those kids are legit. They're for real. I love this. I actually love how the secondary is going to shape up.
I think so too. And like Cooper DeJean, it's just a different caliber of athlete on the field than Avonte Maddox. I think Avonte Maddox was probably unfairly maligned a little bit and scapegoated from some parts of the fan base. I thought he was okay, but there's no doubt that Cooper DeJean is bringing an entirely different level of physicality and physical ability to that position.
Yeah, I just think it's a trickle-down effect we have on the field, right? So, CJ, GJ, it helps him having Cooper DeJean on the field.
Yeah, and, at some point, I hope, I believe they're going to turn the ball over a little bit and get some takeaways, right? These balls keep hitting their hands and they can't catch them. It just like the odds are so unlikely that they would have so few takeaways. So that stuff is bound to come, right?
Now, the only thing is, we're looking at the defense and we'll get to the offense. We're looking at the defense. You go, all right, the front. We know Carter's a stud. Like, you know it. The issue is, as great as the front looked the last 2 weeks against Cleveland and the Giants, no Andrew Thomas, their left tackle, right? Cleveland banged up. Poor quarterback play with both those teams. How real is the front? Because that's the one. You know Carter's a given, right? Like, I put him over here. But where else he at? And Jordan Davis, again, limited snaps.
I think this is the big question, and I think this will determine how good the defense ends up being over the second half of the season. Now, even though Jalen Carter is a stud, I'm a little bit concerned about the amount of snaps that he's playing. He's playing like 75% of the snaps, which is way above what he's played in the past, and so you have to just be thinking about how's he going to look.
I would play him every. I would be like Fangio. To me, he's not coming off the field.
Yeah, but I mean that's great on a week-to-week basis. But the question is, when you look up in week 15, 16, is he exhausted? So we will see how that plays out. And it's so different than what the Eagles have done in the past. They have never had a defensive lineman.
No, they've always a rotation. Yeah.
So on the edge, I think there is some reason for optimism. I think Josh Sweat is playing solid and playing at like the level that you might expect from him. I think that Nolan Smith is improving. There's a bit of an incline for him. He was rewarded with the start. He plays hard, and you're seeing a little bit more refinement, like at the top of his rushes. I think so. That's good. I think Bryce Huff played his best game of the season last week, but that's one where I'm going to need to see it a few more times to believe that he's really a part of this rotation. And what was nice about that is that they didn't have to use and rely on Brandon Graham as much. And so I think you want to keep Brandon Graham healthy, not overextend him. The Jordan Davis conversation is tough because it's hard to separate the value and like the resources they put into him, trading up to get him in the first round. And right now he is obviously not producing at the level that they were hoping. He can't be on the field. He's played he hasn't played a single third down snap each of the past 2 weeks. He's not an every down player. He's a first and second down player, but he's a useful player. On first and second down, he's doing a fine job and is a big part of their run defense. That's fine. If you can accept that this is just a Linval Joseph type player and not a first round dominant player, that's okay. I think Milton Williams has been pretty good and adds a little bit more pass rush juice. And so they've got a lot of bodies. I'm curious if we'll see Jalex Hunt thrown into the mix for real at some point on defense, but this is a pass rush where you have to hope that the strength is in numbers because there's no superstar on the edge.
Baldi said something to me. This was early in the year because he was looking at Huff from the Jets and having both hands in the dirt, and I mean he's like, dude, why aren't they playing him like that? Well, you saw it. last week, and is that unlocking the key for him?
Well, it's funny. Vic Fangio was asked about this last week, and he sort of scoffed at it. He's like, "Well, Huff thinks that that's the difference. I don't necessarily believe that's a difference, but as long as it means something to him, it." And you saw his sack came from that 4-point stance, and Huff did say in the locker room last week as well that he does feel more comfortable coming out of that. And so I think on obvious pass situations, they're letting him do that.
I think you have to. I mean, you can scoff all you want if you're Vic, but if the player believes it, you
Right.
got to roll with it, man.
Right, exactly. And so that's what he said. When they're in third down or obvious pass situations, they're gonna let him do that.
Because you got to have some edge pressure. You got to, in those spots, you got to be able to get that. All right, flip side offense. First of all, what's the line look like injury wise? How's that going into Sunday?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, Mailata is out for at least the next 3 games. Mekhi Becton dealing with the concussion at right guard. We will see if he is able to move through the protocol quickly. If not, it'll be Tyler Steen at right guard. And I thought Tyler Steen played pretty well.
I thought he did
right
well.
guard.
I thought he did really well.
And so my question is, because Fred Johnson was a little bit up and down at left tackle. I think he is strong in the run game. When he's able to get his arms extended, he can really move guys. But he's a little bit uneven in pass protection. And so if Tyler Steen goes out on Sunday against the Bengals and plays right guard and plays really well, I am curious if after that they're going to try to figure out a way to get both Steen and Becton on the field at the same time at the expense of Fred Johnson.
Hey, question. Is the lack of a tight end depth, how much is that hurting them? I mean, listen, I know that, Goddard's been half a ghost, right? Because I think it's more because of the quarterback, but this having Calcaterra now relying on him, I think that's a problem.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it in the offseason. It was a little bit surprising that they didn't add somebody there, even in the draft. You thought late in the draft that might have been a possibility. They had signed CJ Uzama before the draft to sort of be a placeholder. Then they ended up bringing back Jack Stoll. Stoll and Calcaterra, if you could combine the two of their strengths, that would be a very good number 2 tight end, but they're both so limited. Stoll is a very good blocker, but doesn't bring much to the table as a receiver. Calcaterra is a pretty good receiver, and he gets overrun as a blocker, which you see sometimes. And so, it has been the story of this offense without Jalen Hurts, or with Jalen Hurts, that when he doesn't have Dallas Goedert, they just do not throw to the tight ends. You look at it at last year, the games Goddard missed, I think they had like 2 completions to tight ends. This week, it was just 1. I think there is room, though, for Calcaterra to be a little bit more involved in the passing offense. I mean, they threw like 14 passes last week, right? So you got to take that into account. And we have seen that Hurts actually is willing to throw the ball to Calcaterra this season, which is something that was not always the case with Stoll in years past. So I think they could do better there, but I also think that there is some upside with Calcaterra as long as Goddard is out.
I know, dude. I want more tight end. You saw it last night. Like, you got Likely and Andrews in Baltimore. Kate Ott.
Will Dissly is like the whole Chargers offense.
What's that?
Will Dissly was like the whole Chargers offense last night.
Dude, all the tight ends, huge plays. Like, they're a big part of the offense. I will say this. I love having a fullback, man. I'm a big fullback fan.
That doesn't surprise me, but I do like that little package. And Ben Van Sumeren, we saw it in training camp. Actually, they didn't show us the look of him as a fullback, but at the end of camp, they did have him run a route against a lower depth safety or linebacker, and he just routed this guy up, and like the team went crazy to celebrate the route that Ben Van Sumeren ran. So I'm guessing at some point this season we're going to see him get the ball.
Oh, I like it. Fullback, baby. Fullback.
Hey, Bo, Bengals starting left tackle Orlando Brown Jr. Left the game last week. Do you have any injury updates if he'll be playing or not?
I do not. I will. We'll keep track of that as the week goes on, but I don't have anything new for you on that front. But the Eagles have gone up against a bunch of offensive lines the past couple of weeks that have had backups in there.
Hey, also, I know this might pain you too, Anthony. I don't know if you saw it. I'd like to get both your reactions. Yesterday, Nick was asked if the running and rushing attack is that this team's identity. And he, from what I saw, said the identity of this team is our core values.
I mean, that's coach speak. Values. I mean, that's what that is. I mean, that's Nick speak.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give away the game plan. But I will say, I was looking at the numbers. So you take the fourth quarter out of it because the game was such a blowout, right? First three quarters, first and second down, the Eagles ran the ball like 72% of the time on first and second down in the first three quarters. That was their highest rate of doing that in the entire Nick Sirianni era. Higher than that 2021 season when they were just running the ball the second half of the season. And so they went into this game, and maybe this is Saquon's day. We want to get Saquon all the touches that we can get him, let him have a big return to MetLife. But in this game, that was their game plan, to run the ball. And so it is possible that is going to be their game plan moving forward.
And it was correct. I mean, that's the thing. It was correct. Like, you saw how well Gainwell ran the ball. Like, that line, the interior part of that line can open up holes. I think that's just prudent. And
if you're playing with backup offensive linemen, it's certainly easier for them to run block than it is for them to pass block. And if you're worried about the way that Jalen Hurts is setting protections right now, which I think there was reason to be, then yeah, you want to lean on the run game instead of the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, four of the 5 sacks, I thought were on Jalen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you go to allphly.com right now, Fran Duffy has his offensive film review up, and he makes that case as well, that this was probably, by his estimation, Jalen Hurts' worst game of the season, and a lot of it had to do with him sort of inviting pressure onto himself.
Yeah, and late missing guys. I mean, look, that's a part of it. I don't know. Can he work through that thing when it comes to this offense? I mean, that's what it's going to come. Whether or not the Eagles are a legitimate contender, and this goes back to our initial part of the conversation, is going to be whether or not Jalen can kind of get things right over the next 6 to 8 weeks.
I agree with that. I think right now they are a playoff contender, and if they want to be taken seriously, it's going to take a step up from Jalen Hurts.
He's got to be able to dart the ball down the field. He's got to be able to use the middle of the field. The offense, that passing game has to be a bigger weapon than just throw it up to AJ down along the sidelines.
Yep. Yeah, that's not going to work against
totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Bud, I didn't see if he addressed this about plays under center, but there was a stat someone threw out. They ran 13 plays under center, and they ran the ball 12 of those times. They averaged 5.9 yards a carry on the rushes under center. Did anyone ask him if that's becoming more of part of the game plan going forward?
Yeah, he said that was just the game plan this week. It fluctuates. Now, some of those came at the end of the game when this game was out of hand, but they first play of the game was under center play action. Yeah. It was almost like they were trying to send a message to people who had been calling for that, which honestly does tend to happen with the Eagles a lot on their opening drives. It's like they are very rabbit-eared about the discussion around them. That happens a lot.
He was at the line going, cuz on one, under center.
Yeah, he was asked about the touchdown pass to A.J. Brown, and somebody in the press conference asked if that was a check at the line because it looked like it. He's like, why do you guys always think it's a check? That's just the play call. Okay, that's fine.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like there's a lot of it feels unnerved. They feel unnerved about the first 15 the plays that are scripted, the first quarter.
It should be. It's been terrible.
I know, but you know how it is, right? You mentioned the rabbit ears. It feels like there's a lot, like they feel it because they know, it's obvious, right? The whole town. This is the curse of playing in a town that knows the sport really well is that they're going to be you're going to be asked this stuff. Like other cities, it doesn't matter because they're not going to pay attention to it.
Yes, I think one thing that I can tell you with certainty, having covered the team and worked for the team and been around the team for the last 15 years, that building is extremely aware of what is being written and said about it.
It's not good.
What do you feel? What do you think about Cincinnati? It's a good game, man. It's real good game.
Well, that's the thing, and we were talking about this on Sunday and Monday, that it's nice to have a week in which there isn't much melodrama, and we can actually focus on the matchup because this is a very interesting matchup. A Bengals team that has a very good offense. Their defense has struggled, and that's going to be an interesting test for the Eagles team, and I'm curious to see what game plan they're going to put together. I think right now I'm a little bit skeptical. I would, early in the week, I would lean towards the Bengals. But I'm curious to see. I want to see if this defense can look for real, and if the offense can do something a little bit different that maybe we haven't seen just yet.
Yeah, this is kind of a learn. You get a good
I
idea.
think we'll learn a lot this weekend.
Yeah. I'm with you. Interestingly, the game was flexed. This game was flexed to 1:00, and then the Jags game was flexed to 4:05. So they went from the primetime game to the also ran 4:00 game.
Not good.
I know. NBC, they could have had the drama of Nick Sirianni coaching in front of the Doug Peterson statue one more time.
Yeah. We got both teams on a heater, both teams on 2-game winning streaks. Surprise move.
Who'd they go with?
I forget.
Did you see? I forgot.
I actually don't remember which. I know this week it's so that they could get the Caleb Williams.
Vikings.
Colts Vikings.
They went to Colts Vikings.
Vikings, yep.
Wow, that's
Vikings. Yeah.
Colts Vikings. Oh, the Vikings are a good story. So you want to put the Vikings on? I get it, but I don't know. I love the Sunday night games. I'm a big fan of the Sunday night games.
Yeah.
You like?
I like watching the Sunday night games. I am not completely upset that our post game show is not going to be at 1 a.m.
Yeah, I got you. I know that's fair. That's fair. My brother, great stuff as always, man. Always fun hanging out with you.
Enjoy the rest of the day. We're live at 2 today. We're going to be talking about Jalen Hurts' performance and a big day for the defense.
I like it. I like a little preview. I love having Bo on for a little preview action.
Yeah.
2:00. We'll all be watching. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
There he is, Bo Wolf, All Eagles PHLY show.
Wait.
Couple things. I do want to get a couple nugs.
Ooh.
Because speaking of the Eagles, you have some good nugs.
Yeah, we have some good stuff out there.
Nice early nugs.
I like some VG good Eagles nugs.
Yeah.
Especially since I do think Sunday is I'll learn a
Good
lot.
test. Yeah.
Learn a lot.
We saw A.J. Brown score a touchdown in single coverage. So, what do you think his stats versus single coverage are eye-popping? I can't imagine any defensive coordinator would let this happen. He's got whatever these grades are, 98.6. He's graded first in the NFL. 16 catchable targets. He's caught all 16.
Wow.
325 yards, 3 TDs, a perfect passer rating when he's targeted in single coverage.
Wow.
AJ stud.
How does he ever get single coverage?
Dude, he may be like you got Jefferson. He's right there.
Does it all.
I like A.J. Brown better than Jefferson.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You know what you got,
He's
right?
just
Like
a beast.
you know,
Strong.
Yeah.
He's
Fearless. Fast, too.
Fast.
Got run a lot of corners.
I mean, he's got great hands. You know, he's got strong hands.
He
The
does.
mitts, cuz.
Like he's got strong. Like he catches everything and they stick. Right? Like they stick.
Yeah.
Strong hands,
You're all
man.
bruised up now.
You don't smash the ball out of his hand.
No.
He's the claw.
Yeah.
Did you?
He's such a great player. I mean, he really is. Like that was a great trade.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
The
That's a
Titans
dumb
did that.
trade by the Titans. I don't know what the
Yeah.
heck they were
I
thinking.
wonder why they got fired over there.
Did you dominate? Did you play Mercy as a kid where you lock hands?
Yeah, I love
You had
Mercy.
to dominate that game.
Yeah, I
with
love Mercy.
those meat hands of yours.
Oh, yeah. He definitely did.
Yeah, I can't imagine playing him with that.
I'd be scared to play you.
Yeah, there's no chance I take that on.
Fingers be broken.
Yeah.
Well, the best when you play Mercy too, if you squeeze your knuckles together,
God.
You even got a strategy.
yeah,
Oh, you just put so much pain on their
right,
knuckles.
because you got the pain on the inside knuckle too.
The death curl.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That should be like a competitive show, that game. They do that slapping. We should do like Mercy games.
All of a sudden, you see people snapping their fingers. No mercy.
There's I don't know who this Dennis Selman is, but I guess he tweeted out that Vic Fangio technically did not blitz on any of the Giants' 39 dropbacks. He only sent 4 rushes all the time and often had the D lineman dropping back in the coverage.
Wow. Well, that's a zone blitz, right?
Yeah.
Like where you're really not blitzing as much, but you're dropping your D line into the passing lanes, which at times is okay, but
Yeah.
I like pressure. I'm sorry. Now listen, they got home, so I'm not I'm fine. But like I watched the way Spags got to Purdy, and like there's something about, man, when you're blitzing, like I know there's a chance you give up big play, but man, pressure is you create. We talk about turnovers and creating turnovers. I don't think you can create turnovers consistently without blitzing, without pressuring.
Especially in this NFL.
Yeah.
Blitzing is great. I love it all.
Me too, man.
Especially like
We're going to go man zero.
We're close
right?
with the town we have a corner. We could be a man zero team.
Listen, I agree. Yes, I agree. I love to say it.
We'll give some love to the Bulldogs on this squad. Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean this week combined for 17 tackles, 7 quarterback hits, 6 tackles for losses, and 5 sacks. All from your Georgia Bulldogs.
I think there's one more, right? One more Georgia Bulldog?
Well, that's forget about that.
Yeah, that guy's chilling out half these time.
With his 12
Forget
snaps.
about that. But that, I mean,
No, they
I'm
balled
hoping.
out. They balled out.
And Bo brought this up about Nolan Smith showing some improvement. I mean, he's a guy that we forget because he was the second first-round pick. Like that's a big investment, and they need him. So I'm hoping that, and I like that kid, man. I do. I'm a Nolan Smith fan. I like the kid. I'm rooting for him. He's a great kid. I think he's got ability, and I'm hoping that that improvement is for real.
Sunday was like the first time I felt like we had an NFL player in Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
Someone who can consistently play. So
It's a good way to
build
put
off
it.
that.
It's a good way to put it.
Hey, 3 out of the 4 hit Bulldogs. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty,
for sure.
pretty good.
Yep. And Cooper Gene, the Gene's been popping off the screen for us all. He is the highest graded defender on the Eagles since becoming a starter. So it's not just our eyes.
Listen, defensively, he's been great. But how do we go back to Britton Covey
He's
when
a
he comes
kid
back?
I love. Those two, him and Mitchell, I love those
know.
kids, man.
Yeah. I don't know how you go Britton Covey. I guess because you want to keep Cooper healthy back
I
there.
know, but
Nah, I'm with you. I ride
electric.
Coop. I want Coop.
bringing
I
tackles.
want Coop running it. I do. I want Coop returning it.
Yep. We go. This one's a good Quignon one. 28 NFL defensive backs have been targeted at least 33 times this season. He ranks number 1 out of those 28 in passer rating allowed.
Yeah, like national people are starting to catch on Quinyon Mitchell too.
He's had his hands on so many.
Yeah.
And he's dropped them.
He'll get 'em.
I am just waiting for him to grab one and take it home.
His mentality is the best too, man. He's never scared, and it doesn't matter what receiver he can be going up against. He wants it. He wants that matchup.
I agree. I'm with you guys. All right, coming up next, we'll talk to Baldi, go through the league, lots of good NFL stuff, and then at 10:30, Devon. So we'll talk some hoop. It's day 2. We have 3 days of Devon. Day 2.
Can't have too many days.
Right, because I'm
Never.
really excited for the tip-off tonight. So,
of course.
we'll talk a little. Yesterday, we did the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
Today, we'll do the West. We'll talk about the state of the league. So, we'll get to Devon coming up in about a half hour.
That the Griffies are coming to see LeBron and Bronny play.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah.
That is very cool. Why, you're out on LeBron?
I'm not.
You're out on the last
sun.
father-son
I'm out on the-
combo to
I'm
play
out on the
professional
sun.
ball to come out and watch the next one?
You know, I heard something interesting, a nugget, LeBron nugget.
Okay.
Do you know, to prepare for the season, he spends $1 million
Yes.
on his body?
Well, he'll tell you. I don't disclose that information, how much money I spend on my
Yeah.
body, but
No, it's
definitely
people
has to
talking
be
about
around
$1 million. It's I heard from somebody yesterday
okay.
I've
about
heard
what
that
he
before
does.
as well.
It's
I
unbelievable.
mean, you have to, right?
Yeah, of course.
At that age?
Yeah. And listen, man, I mean, that's how you beat Father Time or stave off Father Time.
Did they mention Derrick Henry last night? Like he works out in the morning and then it's massage, hot tub, cold tub, cupping, acupuncture.
Yeah.
He's got a crazy thing going on as well. Yeah.
It's cool. That's a Baldy kind of move.
Yeah.
Hot yoga and stretching.
That's right. All right. I want to tell you about the Bet Parks Sportsbook online casino app. We're talking about all the stuff. Hey, the Frozen Frenzy, all the NHL games, Flyers. What are the Flyers on the? I like them tonight.
Oh yeah.
I think you got the clunker out Saturday night.
Exactly.
Flyers, Caps. What are they? Are they adult?
I'm fine. I'm locked in on this UTEP game. I'm trying to give the people a little UTEP +6 today.
I know.
Yeah. We got the current Rush and Go going up against the future Rush and Go tonight.
Flyers is heavy favorites, -124.
Flyers are favorite. That's good. All right. You got that. You got the NBA tipping off. Perfect time for the Bet Parks sportsbook online casino app. Download right to your phone. It's so much fun. All the stuff that we talk about. All right. Brain will be back tomorrow for the picks. We'll be doing our weekend football show tomorrow evening. We'll drop that. So check all those picks out. Hey, listen, make your downtime fun time too. Because while you're watching all the sports, you can got live casino blackjack with a live dealer. You got roulette and baccarat and all the hot online slots, the Peaky Blinders slots, all that fun stuff. You can check it out. And new users, if you're down in the first 24 hours, you'll get up to $1,000 casino bonus back. So betparks.com has all the details. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Ohio, Michigan. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Love it, cuz. All right, well, listen, I know a lot of us tonight with all the sports going on, cuz just mentioned it, the Frozen Frenzy, the tip-off of the NBA season, probably be scrolling through our phone. We're going to be scrolling through those sportsbook apps as well. And we're going to be in our man cave, right? And listen, let's be honest. We've been sitting in that man cave a little bit too long, and we've kind of neglected our floors. That rug from the 90s, right? From when the Phillies were in the Super Bowl, or when the Phillies were in the World Series in 93? Yeah, it's time to change that rug. And listen, we're only going to change our flooring with one company only. That's our friends over at Empire Today. I love Empire Today. Listen, they're going to give you that at-home convenience for all of us who are scared to change our flooring. They're going to give you a quick and professional installation. That way, we can get back to enjoying our man cave much, much quicker. And the best part about Empire Today, look, they have competitors just like any other company, right? But what makes them better is that they're only going to be putting flooring in your home that they would put in theirs. Some of the other competitors, they're going to offer you to save money, right? But saving money means lower quality, and that's not what Empire Today is going to do. They're only going to put the best in your house because that is what you deserve. So don't wait anymore. Change that flooring. Get your free in-home estimate today, and our listeners exclusively can save up to $350. That is a lot of dough, ladies and gentlemen. So go to EmpireToday.com/PHLY. Use the promo code PHLY. Keep in mind that restrictions do apply, but do not wait any longer. Get your floor changed here today with our friends over at Empire
Today.
Love it, guys.
All right. This portion of the program presented by Rite Aid. All of your scripts, flu shots, and Halloween candy. RiteAid.com. All right. Now, joining us. Cannot wait. Love it. He's back from San Francisco. He was hobnobbing with the goats.
Nice.
I saw him with all the goats. It was great. He's, of course, the one, the only, Baldi.
Baldi. Oh, let's talk some football. Baldi. Oh, he likes pizza and football. Oh, Baldi.
There he is, fresh from hanging with the goats on the West Coast. How was it?
It was, you go out to see a Super Bowl rematch in that place. I mean, it's, it's like an all-star event. There's Brady down there. There's Jerry Rice over there. There's, Mahomes over here. There's Travis Kelce catching. I mean, it's just like a star-studded event. But it was fun. I mean, it was, it wasn't a very good game. Either team played really very good. But, Mahomes with the ball in his hands, he still can make all the plays you need to make. I mean, that 33-yard run at the end of the game, makes Freddie Warner miss in the open field. Looks like he might go out of bounds and does one of these little fake things out there. And, next thing you know, he's trucking a really good safety, Malik Mustafa, in the end zone, for the touchdown. Andy can, draw up the play. I mean, they ran 5 sweeps, 8 motions to Xavier Worthy and McCall.
He's got Wentz on the field, Baldi.
He's got Carson Wentz out there doing stuff, like he just, but he's 22-4 after a bye week.
I know.
Like I tell people, him as well as anybody, cuz he's a tinkerer. So he doesn't have hobbies. He's playing around with formations, personnel. What do we have? What can we use? What do they do? What can we use against them? It's just, it's really incomparable. And then Spags, I mean, he's just his ability to honestly confuse quarterbacks, blitz. They play three big linebackers, more than any other team in the league, and they can't. And they're not getting. You would think Leo Chanel at 255 pounds, that Kyle would see that Shanahan and figured out a way to get him in coverage, and they did. But he covered juice down the field. They didn't make him pay for it, and you can't run against that look. It's like having 3 extra defensive tackles at linebacker.
But I know, listen, Niners banged up, and I get it. But Chiefs are banged up. I mean, I just thought I came away once again going, those two guys, one on offense or one on defense, are the best coaches in the NFL. And it's a coaches league, and this is what you get.
Yeah. No, it's a coaches league. Look, I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster, he got hurt in the first series. He was out. Rasheed Rice done for the year. I mean, you go through the list of all their Pacheco out. Go get Kareem Hunt. I mean, it's just it's remarkable. They lose their best corner in free agency, but here's Trent McDuffie, here's Jalen Watson. Jalen Watson goes out. Some rookie comes in from UCLA, gets an interception on the next play. I mean, it's one thing to just kind of plug and play some guys. It's another thing to have guys up to speed, ready to go, where they're not getting picked on. They're not the weak link. I mean, they both are unbelievable teachers. And it's a credit. Just a credit.
The NFC, it's wild now. It's so wide open. Take away the North for a second. We'll put the North to the side because it's such a ridiculous division. But, San Fran banged up bad. Now, Ayuk out for the year. We saw last night, this was horrible. Tampa loses first Evans to the hammy, and then late, and this is what sucks. You're trying to play it out, and in kind of meaningless time, you kind of know what's going to happen, but you still got to go for the effort. And Chris Godwin, that was an awful injury. I mean, I don't know how Tampa survives that.
I don't know, because Mike Evans, when he pulled up in the hamstring, I mean, the ball is perfectly thrown by Baker. Mike doesn't drop those balls, but he pulled a hamstring when he was stretching for the ball. He grabbed that right hamstring right away. That doesn't look like it's going to be a quick heal. That looks like something, I mean, my guess is it's a minimum of 3 weeks. Yeah. So you got Jalen McMillan, Trey Palmer, you got some young guys, but it's not going to be Godwin and Evans. I mean, so they're going to take a big hit.
And then San Fran, Ayuk now done for the year. I know they're going to get McCaffrey back probably after the bye, but man, I mean, that's a huge loss. Ayuk, you had Debo who was sick, and then you have Ayuk who has always been the perfect complement to Debo in that offense.
No doubt, no question. And so, they drafted Ricky Pearsall. He played, after being shot.
Yeah.
This summer, he got his first action in there. I don't know. I mean, he couldn't beat Trent McDuffie the other day. I mean, not many people are beating that guy. But, he drafted a guy in the first round. Debo's got pneumonia. Who knows how long that's going to take in order to get it healed. But look, I would say the team that Seattle went to Atlanta and won a big game, but I would say the team to look out for in the second half of the season is Rams, because they're going to get a lot of these guys back. They're going to get Cooper Kupp back. They're going to get Nakua back. And if they do, and these young defensive linemen just continue to improve, I mean, they don't have a good record. Nobody's taking them serious right now, but nobody did last year either. And then they got razor hot in the second half of the season. So, I mean, you can't discount the Rams just because of how well coached they are and the players that have done it in that system.
Hey, we were watching last night, and you're looking at Henry, and the Ravens are ridiculous, man. They're so good. Lamar's playing at the top of his game, and you're watching Henry, and all I keep thinking about is, he lives in Dallas, and how did the Cowboys, right? You need a running back. You got the guy living in your backyard, and you don't make a move with him? That's unbelievable.
Not only not make a move, you don't make a phone call. You don't even inquire. He's out there as a free agent. Anybody can sign him. Yeah. It's a perfect fit, though, him and Lamar. It's honestly, who's the MVP of the league? Is it Henry? He's going to go, he has a legit shot at 2,000 yards, but nobody in this league is even close to Lamar playing quarterback right now. There's nothing he can't do. I saw him 2 weeks ago against Cincinnati. He put up 41 points last night. You can't. I mean, he's just the best player in the league right now. So you got two MVPs of the same team, and then the complementary players around him and the coaching are all excellent as well. So I mean, they're like far way out in front of him. I mean, Kansas City's undefeated, but I would say Baltimore is just a better team right now.
I mean, look at their offense, how those complementary guys work, right? I love Zay Flowers, right?
Yeah.
So you got Bateman. I mean, Bateman had two monster plays last night, right? Because he's so fast. And then you got those tight ends. I mean, Likely and Andrews. I mean, you got those two guys, two basketball players, playing.
So Andrews, and then you got to count, Charlie Kolar. They're all 6'6".
Yeah.
Still has his role. He's a phenomenal role player for what they want him to do. So, and they're going to get this kid that was a star for 3 weeks last year, Keaton Mitchell. They're going to get him back at some point. I mean, he went.
We loved him, Baldi. Keaton Mitchell. Well, you and I loved him.
He came out of East Carolina. He's a Pirate.
Fast.
He was unbelievable for 3 weeks until he got hurt last year. So I mean, he's just an insurance policy. Whether he gets out there in the field or not. They don't. I mean, defensively, they still have weaknesses in the secondary, but they really don't have a weakness on offense right now.
Hey, you brought up the Bengals. So where do they stand right now? And look, I know the defense was banged up. They were on a roll offensively until they played the Giants. Where are they as a team?
Well, look, they lost to the Ravens 41-38. They should have easily won that game. They should have beaten Kansas City. I mean, they're a very good team. Joe Burrow is as good as there is in this business. They're healthy. So you've got to play your best defensive game against them. Now, Cleveland played a good game last week, held them to 21 points. But, I mean, Jamar, T. Higgins, this Iosivich, the OC, this kid from Princeton is really good. They're good. They're really good. Now, they're playing a lot better defensively right now.
What happened? I know their front was banged up. They had a banged up.
They were like literally against Kansas City. They were down to 2 defensive tackles in that game. Yeah. And but they were up, and then they had this rookie commit a penalty on 3rd and 20 and gave Mahomes life. I mean, they had the game won. And then they gave him a defensive pass interference penalty. But they're well coached, very well coached. I mean, Lee Anarumo is a good defensive coach. He's gonna those 2 inside linebackers, Jermaine Pratt and Logan Wilson. Go look up their stats and see the amount of splash plays in their career. This is now 4 straight years that they've lined up together. Literally every play, every game. Between the interceptions, fumble recovers, all that stuff. Like they're 2 playmaking linebackers, but they're led by Burrow, and when he's on, nobody's better. I mean, I don't care what kind of coverage you play. He reads it. His strength is going back to LSU is he would love to, if his tackles were better, he would love to just put 5 guys out, identify the coverage, and just go through his progressions and, just find the open guy because nobody does it faster.
So let me ask you, what did you make of Sunday and the Birds' victory over the Giants, the Saquon game? Saw some things we like. A fullback. You got to see a fullback, baby. Baldi loves that. Yeah, well, I mean, they made some changes. They put Jalen under center. They put Van Summer in at the fullback. All those things were good. They ran for 270 yards. Any team in this league would take that on it. Best day they've had doing that, and that was more Saquon and Gainwell than it was anything that Hurts did. So I mean that's encouraging. I have no idea what the Giants were doing on A.J. Brown's touchdown. I mean, they've got their 4th corner, Nick McFadden, out there, and they're doubling Calcaterra and doubling Devontae Smith and leaving McFadden one-on-one with A.J. Brown. Like, it makes like the coordinator's actually been pretty good this year, Shane Bowen, but that call, like as soon as Jalen saw it, and it wasn't his first read. Right.
I mean, it's just a layup. It's a layup at that point. And look, Saquon got the big explosive runs. So, he had his day. Pulled Juergens out there on the 55-yarder, and then he finished the drive off, and you get the big play to AJ. That's all they needed against that Giants offense, which is just dreadful. And And so look, Bryce Huff, Nolan Smith, Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter, they all ate, against
Wait, let
that
me
left
give you
guy.
flowers off of that because let me give you some props here because you're the one who said, and this was weeks ago, and I'm a witness. You're like, cuz look, when he's in that 4-point stance, he's got both hands in the dirt. He's a different pass rusher. And hey, that's how he got a sack on Sunday. Same thing. Just like you said last week.
He got a half a sack last week off the same thing. Look, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm not some genius, but like the guy's not a linebacker. Like some guys can't rush, like Chase Young. If he put his hand in the dirt, he'd be a much better pass rusher. But he stands up and he rushes from a 2-point stance. Look, Usain Bolt isn't winning the 100-yard dash if he stands up. You put his feet in the blocks and you put him in a 4-point stance, let him go take off. There's never been anybody faster. And that's what Bryce Huff is. He's a sprinter. Put him in the blocks, let him sprint. His takeoff is elite. He beats guys out of their stance, and he's a different player. But you have to play him and use him, and you got to put him in a wide 9, let him rush wide. That's what he is. Like, if you don't like it, then you shouldn't have spent $51 million on him.
Yeah, it feels like, it's funny. Fangio kind of downplayed it. And I like, to me, it's obvious. Like when you said it, you said this weeks ago. You're like, look at this. You were looking at film from him with the Jets, and look at all his sacks came out of that with both hands in the dirt. I mean, it just makes
all 10 of them, and almost all of his pressures came in a 4-point stance, wide 9. And so Vic can downplay it, but look, they didn't use him correctly, period.
Yeah.
All right. The guy didn't have a stat the first 5 weeks of the season. He didn't have a stat. So it's not his fault. It's not his fault at all. You got to play. It's always about, okay, what's the player do well? Like Van Sumeren. Like, he's not getting on the field, all right, as a linebacker because, honestly, like those two inside guys right now, N'Kobe and Zach, they're playing good football. So he's not getting on the field. They don't use 3 linebackers. So find a role for the kid. He's active, find a role. So that's good. Kellen found a role for him and put him in that position. He had a couple good blocks that really helped spring Barkley a couple times. All right, you got to keep tinkering.
So where are you at with them? What do they look like to you? 50,000 feet looking down.
I mean, look, we saw Lamar Jackson last night. Like, he's just all world. Mahomes, we know what Mahomes is in every big game. Like, I was talking to Brady the other day, and, I like Brock Purdy a lot. Brady's not as high. He's like, look, he physically, he's not great. He does good things with his legs, but he's 6'1". That's going to always limit a quarterback to a degree, especially when you're looking at Brady, who's every bit of 6'6". He's got good instincts. He doesn't have a great arm. So, okay, this is what he is. Like he had Kittle on a go route last week. He doesn't quite have the arm to hit him in stride like Lamar did to Bateman last night. He doesn't have that. Doesn't have a cannon. So he's a little bit limited. Jalen is not playing. He's not playing. Look, he's gone 2 weeks in a row without turning the ball over. That's good. All right. But he doesn't look great to me. And your quarterback has to be great. All right. You can talk about blowing in the middle of the field, doing this, doing that. He's holding the ball. He's a little unsure. He doesn't get things out on timing. Like, you're a little bit limited in big games. Like, maybe Cincinnati, maybe it's a shootout if you got to go with Burrow, and maybe they can play that type of game. But if they do have to play in a shootout, because I saw one with Baltimore and Cincinnati, and it was a shootout, the quarterback had to play big, huge, and both of them did, and Baltimore won in overtime. But if it gets to be a shootout, Jalen's got to throw the ball and play better.
I mean, look, 4 of the 5 sacks I thought were on him last week.
Well, look, Lane Johnson is not going to – like, Lane played great. I mean, Azeez Ojulari can't get off him. But Lane's not going to, block him for 6 seconds. He's not. Because all you're going to get, if you're grabbing a guy, is holding calls. Like, tackles got to let your guys go. Freddie Johnson played really well at left tackle. I know he got beat once, but otherwise he played really well. I mean, Mekhi went out again. So then you put the young kids, Tyler Steen, you play fine. But you can't ask your offensive line in this league to block for 5 seconds. You just can't. Like, the flag's going to come out if you do that. You got to. So then the quarterback's on his own if he wants to hold it that long. Like, Lane's just going to watch. I don't know. Like, just. But it's there's not a big. You'll watch this week when you see Burrow throw the football. Like, the ball's going to come out. He's not holding it.
Hey, Baldi, in the preseason, Fangio had said the offense would be a little ahead of the defense, and it seems like maybe the defense is catching up and they're all bought into the new system. Do you think that that's what you're seeing when you watch the Eagles, or has it just been 2 bad teams they played on offense?
Well, Daniel Jones stinks. Like, he's terrible. Like, he doesn't throw one ball on timing. Like, I don't want to judge the Eagles' best defensive effort against Daniel Jones. Like, he did the same thing last week to Cincinnati. They should have beat Cincinnati the way they played defensively. But he's just playing terrible. He's not seeing the field. Like, just simple reads, he's not seeing it. So I don't want to get too crazy about what they did to the Giants last week. Because that offense is just dreadful, period. So, but, look, you can't go, all right, you got to, at the end of the year, you're going to say, okay, do they have 30 sacks or do they have 50? Do they have 4 interceptions or do they have 12? So they got to start taking the ball away more than they are. Like, they're not knocking the ball loose. And in this league right now, I see guys punching the ball out all the time. And Vic Fangio, to his credit, in 2 spots now, in Chicago and in San Francisco, he led the league in takeaways. But I don't see them doing things to get the ball out right now. And so that, to me, you can look at the stats and go, okay, yes, they played better the last 2 weeks. But great defenses take the ball away, and they score. Now, Deion Sanders told me that a long time ago. He goes, I don't get a rat's ass about stats, Baldi. If I'm playing on my defense, we're going to score. We're scoring points on my defense. And so they haven't done that. So there's a lot to be done if they want to get to the playoffs and then go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, you got to hawk. Hey, one of the great stories in the league. I love the Steelers, right? I love Mike Tomlin. I love his approach. And so Sunday night was fascinating, right? Because Russ comes back and he's throwing moon balls, and Pickens is going up in the air and getting them, and that opened up things for Najee and for Warren. And can that thing work? And would you incorporate Fields more in the red zone? Because if there's one area where Russ is going to struggle, it's more probably inside the red zone.
I don't see them putting Justin Fields on the field as long as Russell plays like he did. Now, he got off to a slow start, but Pickens didn't have a touchdown catch in the first 6 weeks. Russell finds him in the end zone. He played the last 3 quarters. He played very well. And then they ran the ball. When they got the lead in the fourth quarter, they ran the ball right down the Jets' throats. And so they're going to get their best offensive players, their center, Zach Frazier, the rookie. And he's coming back probably next week. But they're playing a rookie right guard, basically a backup to a backup center. And they got Sam Allo back. They're going to get better up front. Jalen Warren's only going to get healthier. They're going to be okay. I think before the trade deadline happens, they're going to get a receiver from somewhere. Amari would have been a great fit. He's a great fit in Buffalo. He hit it right away. But I think the Steelers, look, when the Steelers and Ravens play, it's just a different brand of football.
Yeah.
Than any other teams in the whole world.
Yeah.
So they're on a collision course right now.
Yeah.
Period. They're both 5-2. The Ravens have won 5 in a row. They've got everything. Like, it's just a collision course between these 2 teams. And and that's why Tomlin made the change. He knows that they got the Ravens twice coming up, maybe again in the playoffs. He knows what Lamar is. He's like, we can't have Justin Fields Justin was playing okay, but they weren't scoring enough points. And the passing game wasn't very good. So let's just get a guy that's, won a Super Bowl and been to Super Bowls and played at a high level in this league. He threw 26 touchdown passes last year in 15 games.
Yeah.
Like, let's improve the passing game right now.
I love I loved his reason. Like, he's like, I want to see it. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see what the offense looks like with Russ. I just think it makes. That's why he's such a great CEO coach. I was watching him. There was they had gotten the ball. There was still a game, and they were down at the 2-yard line. And he went over to his OC and he said something. And I don't know what it was, like get in the bleeping end zone, run the ball, or throw a fade, and he threw a fade. But I just love the idea, and the OC's going like this, there's no doubt who's in charge of that squad.
No, never. I mean, just go up to any Steeler practice. I've been in Latrobe many summers. That guy, honestly, my buddy Andy Whitehall is a personnel director. So, I just listening to him interact with everybody. It could be Steeler alumni. Joey Porter was there one day when I was there this summer. So there's Joey. The coordinators, okay? To Andy, Andy, give me some film on this. They just signed a guy off the street, and so he made a play in practice, and he's like, Andy, I got to see more film on this guy. Just put it on my desk, all right? So Andy's running around. He's got some intern loading up the film and getting he's the ultimate coach, man. His hands are everywhere in that thing. And this guy has no other interest except his team and playing good football. That's it. He could care less about anything else.
Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I'm looking. Listen, you mentioned the Bills. The Bills are the other team that I think are scary. Cooper catches a touchdown pass. All of a sudden, we said he's a perfect fit there. The AFC, the top teams look pretty nasty.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun, round robin, fun tournament. There's a lot of teams that are going to be in play, come playoff time. And so there's a lot to be determined. The AFC North has to be determined for sure. The AFC East, everybody's still waiting on the Jets, but it looks like Buffalo, is so far out in front. I can't see them dropping off unless there's, a major injury. And they're so well coached, they don't beat themselves. And that's what you got to look at in this league right now. Who's just beating themselves? The Chargers beat themselves last night against Arizona. That Jonathan Gannon is a good coach. I'm just a good coach. They don't have a lot of firepower. They need more, but they don't beat themselves. They give you everything they got. They play hard.
What happened to Marvin? Marvin's been pretty quiet
the whole year. First of all, he doesn't look like he separates well. He just looks like a big receiver.
Yeah.
He doesn't look the least bit special.
Yeah.
In any game he's played this year.
Yeah, shame.
Yeah. I take Drake London over him any day right now.
I know. Hey, last we got something.
Yeah, something fun.
I got something fun. I got to ask him. So the NBA tips off tonight, and LeBron, the Lakers are playing, and LeBron. I talked to an agent friend of mine, and he's like, listen, LeBron spends $1 million on his body every year, right? Just doing everything, what he needs, everything. You have the secret. Now, what's your secret for longevity? And you don't spend $1 million on your body.
Well, no, I don't. I don't spend anything. I don't believe in doctors, so I don't believe in any healthcare system. I don't think I've never missed a day of school. I've never missed a day of work. I've never been sick. Well, I got sick one time in college. I had strep throat.
Well, you were sick last year one day. You were sick, but you didn't. You were at work, but you were you had a little bit of a flu.
I might have been on my nose or something, but no, I don't. I believe in eating. I don't believe in eating poison, and I sleep. I didn't sleep Sunday night because I came straight off a red eye, so I just had to gut it out yesterday. But I slept 7 hours straight last night. So I'm back. I'm back to normal right now.
Is that all you need, Baldi? Just 7 hours a night?
I mean, if I could get 7, I don't need anything more than that. But if I could get 7, I get it. But I'm fine on 6, 5.5. It's borderline, but I can make that work. But red eyes, I don't sleep. So a stupid lady in front of me had the light on. She was knitting. I got a light in my face. I'm not sleeping on a plane.
Yeah, speaking about putting poison in your body, the chat room wants to know, based off a discussion we had yesterday, are you a fan of chicken parmesan?
No. You're never going to go to an Italian restaurant in any city in Italy and get chicken parmesan.
All right. Listen, you Philistines. All right? Listen to Baldi. These guys with this chicken and pasta don't go. They don't have chicken in Italy. All right?
How about sausage and pasta?
Yeah, you can do sausage. You can. Sausage, broccoli rabe, and a penne, shrimp pasta.
Yeah, I mean, but, they make their own sausage. They have their own spicy Italian sausage. They make their own.
Yeah, but the greens, you do it with the greens. It's an olive oil, the greens, locatelli cheese, grated on.
Parmesan. You're not going to get any chicken parmesan. Like, you're not getting that. You're not getting those dishes in Italy. Why would you bread?
Chicken French.
Forget the chicken, all right? Forget the chicken. Cluck. All right, get rid of it. Yeah. There's no fettuccine Alfredo. Somebody else asked that in the chat. That doesn't exist. These guys, that's with the chicken. I keep telling them.
Cuz, come on. Just keep educating. Cuz I got to go do this thing with San Francisco.
Go. We love you, buddy. Yeah, here he is.
You know what? I think
I gotta go. He's the greatest.
Honestly, what I think Cuz needs to take us to a nice Italian restaurant and teach us the culinary.
If it works. Oh. I think we're back. Are we back?
Something looks like it's moving.
Are we back?
Yeah.
We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, good. All right. Well, yeah, no chicken meatballs, too. That's the other thing. Chicken meatballs.
That's like a new trend these days. I'm primarily a turkey meatball only thing.
Oh, God, get the hell out of here with the foul. That's foul.
No.
You got even mind.
Beef and veal, right?
Yes. Pork, veal, and
all right.
Exactly.
I like that.
Beef. All right. Let's talk about Parks Casino, Street Road, Ben Salem. The fabulous Parks Casino. That's right, man. Nothing better. You want to talk about a mecca of entertainment, great restaurants.
Yeah.
All right. You got it at Parks Casino. Look, it's a mecca right here in Bucks County. It's so easy to get to. Street Road exit off of 95 and the PA Turnpike. It is tremendous. And look, we talk about, I love that Bamboo Noodle House. It's fantastic. They got it all, man. The sushi, I like the soup.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's
You a spicy roll guy? I'm a good spicy tuna roll.
I do like that. Yes, yeah. I do. Don't forget, listen, it's a mecca of entertainment. So you have all the fun, right? You have all the whether it's the poker room, they have all the sports book is ridiculous, all the gaming tables and all that stuff. But they have great entertainment too. The Excite Center, 1,500 seat Excite Center, is the perfect place for all of your acts. So here you go. They see the country's best comedians and music headliners. Tickets on sale now, October 24th. When is that? It's coming up.
It is coming up.
Which day's date?
2 days.
Today is the 22nd.
2 days
Thursday
until
Thursday.
TLC.
Dude.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
We're going to have to go to that, guys.
Rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
Yeah.
October 20th, that's very good. October 25th, Michael Blaustein, great comedian. November 1st, Invincible, tribute to Michael.
They told him, don't you ever come around here. Don't want to see your face, you better disappear. There's fire in your eyes and your words are really clear. So
Just beat it.
just beat it.
Just beat it. I like it. October, I don't even know where I'm at. November 14th at U2. Ezra Ray Hart, the lead singers from Sugar Ray, Better Than Ezra, and Tonic joined together for an incredible night.
Something so deceiving when you stop believing. Turn me around again.
November 23rd,
baby. Don't say a
comedian
word.
Steve Trevino. December 6th, Patti LaBelle.
I got a new attitude. Yeah.
December 14th, comedian Eric D'Alessandro. ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino, this is how you win. You got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. Also, it is engagement season. Just like football season, NBA season, NHL season, there is such a thing called engagement season. And in fact, this is Golden Nugget Jewelers' specialty. Because Golden Nugget Jewelers, right on 8th and Chestnut, the heart of Jewelers Row, is where Philly gets engaged. So you look around, you go, you met that perfect somebody. Now you're looking for the ring. And that is a daunting thing. So you go to see my man. I got a guy, I always tell you I got a guy, Yaron. He owns Golden Nugget Jewelers. He's been down there for, 30 years. Well, I've known Yaron. He's the best. He's got incredible diamonds, right? He knows he's been doing it so long. He'll look at you. He'll tell you, tell me your budget. You tell him what you're looking for, what she likes, and he's got you covered. All right? Easy peasy. The only thing you have to worry about is when to do it. Do you do it during Halloween? Do you do it during Thanksgiving? How about Christmas? How about New Year's? How about Valentine's Day? That takes you up, right? That's the whole season. That's engagement season. GoldenNuggetJewelers.com, where Philly gets engaged. All right, this portion of the show brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY to find out the credit union difference. Tonight, tip-off, the NBA season. We got a little Frozen Frenzy.
Yeah.
And then we got Celtics, Knicks, and even a little Lakers action.
T-Wolves, man.
Yeah, I love
association.
Listen, I love Minnesota.
Oh, me too, cuz.
I love Anthony. It's my namesake. I'm a big Anthony Edwards fan. He's my favorite player in the league.
And DiVincenzo makes things a little interesting, too.
He does. I do. So joining us, this is the 3 days of Devon. Because I love talking ball with our man, Devon Givens. Can you sing the open?
Yeah, dude. Come on.
Devon Givens, let's talk NBA. Devon Givens, let's talk NBA.
Let's go.
Where's the Devon? That's my
Everybody needs a little theme music. There you go.
Lightens things up a little bit, Devon.
I love it. Dude, I can't wait, man. We got tip-off tonight, brother.
I know. I'm excited, man. I was thinking about it already. 7:30 tip-off. I can't wait, man. Yeah, can't wait. Everything's going to be mapped out to sit down, certainly at 7:30.
Yeah, it's a great sports night because you get the Flyers at 6, right? And the ESPN's doing this whole Frozen Frenzy where every team in the league's playing, and they're staggering the starts down to like 11 o'clock is Kings and Vegas. And then you got doubleheader. It's a great doubleheader, man. Knicks and Celtics and T-Wolves and Lakers. Let's start, before we get to the games and do some of the Western Conference, I want to ask you, how do you feel globally about the league? I have this discussion all the time. Like, my cousin loves it. My buddy Boo loves it. My buddy Tooch hates it. My buddy Vinny doesn't even care. And, we talk about the whole thing about where the game is. And I enjoy it. I know you love it. I think with college basketball and the NIL money, I think it'll have a trickle-down effect, which will make the league better, which will have kids stay in college a little bit more, and ultimately make the league better. Where are you at with it?
So globally, in general, I like where it is overseas, just because look how many players that we talk about for the MVP over the last couple of years. The argument is when are the American-born players going to catch up? Now that may be the case this year with not even Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because he's a Canadian guy, right? So you look at him, you look at some of the other names that are mixed in for the MVP, and it's a little bit down for the American-born players. So the international game overall has done really, really well to help out. We like Victor Wembanyama, of course, looking at Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, Giannis, Joel Embiid, and these guys are really, really talented. So from that perspective, going across the water, you like it. So when you talk about coming home and looking at the NIL money, I love the fact that it was the way that it was when I grew up, when I was able to watch college basketball, know all the players from the teams. They were there for at least a minimum 2 seasons, and then some would stay even longer for a third year.
Like, sometimes I laugh because you're saying this. I said the exact same thing this morning.
I loved it. Yeah. I mean, my favorite team of all time is the UNLV team that won. Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, Greg Anthony, Anderson Hunt, and George Ackles. So
was Larry Mishaw on that team as well?
I don't remember him on that team. You might have me on that one, but those 5 for sure.
Might have been Houston. I'm sorry. I think he was Phi Slamma Jamma.
Okay. Yeah. So
George
again, I
Ackles.
mean,
Wow.
George Ackles. Things have
Anderson
changed.
Hunt.
Anderson Hunt, big time, right? So things have changed in a big way. And I'm happy that these young players are able to get something from these college teams, get some of that NIL money, and maybe stay an extra year. But it also could push some of them out the door because they do have some of that financial stability getting it while they're in college. I mean, look, Rutgers. I'm going to be up there watching Ace Bailey and Harper because
Yeah.
that's going to be fun. That's going to be a good time. Even with some of those things that you see, Bennett retiring, maybe that has something to do with the NIL from Virginia, and some of these others not liking where things are currently, I still think the game is in a good place. You get a lot of pushback from people where they don't like how the game is right now, too much money being involved in college, and the game is not played the right way at the pro level. I get it because, again, we're creatures of habit. We liked how things were, but we have to be adaptable to how the game is. But for me, as you said, 7:30 tonight, I'm locked in. I love it. College game is different, but the pro game is still the same for me. Where I love how it's played. It's more fast paced. The shot making is crazy. The athleticism is off the charts. I really like where the game is today.
Well, and you said something I'm so spot on with. What really helped the league, I think, is the rest of the world catching up, and so it makes the pool deeper. Like you just have much better. You have more players now. You have just because you go around the league. There's some sensational players, like fun players. I could pick 3 or 4 from each team that I enjoy watching.
Oh, easily. Now, college is a different story because we don't know who they are anymore, except for the freshmen that are so good. Yeah. But as far as the NBA goes, absolutely. You can run down a list of names of American-born and, again, the international players that have come over and established themselves in the league. And that's even with bad teams. And yesterday we were talking about the Charlotte Hornets, and I like Josh Green. Brandon Miller, I think he's going to take a step up. We know LaMelo, if healthy, is at least a conversation of an all-star level player. The young centers are good. And even the coach, who's a young coach, is also talented and has a chance to be pretty solid in today's game. So it's fun, man. It really is to look at how they play and how different they are. I mean, even though the argument gets tiring and it gets tired of how each side defends Nikola Jokic versus Joel Embiid, guess what? If I'm a GM and we had a pool draft for those two and you had to take one over the other, I'm thrilled to get the other one as a leftover type of player because of how good both of them are in today's game. So I still think they're in a very good place. As far as the talent base goes on the floor and who they are and what they do, I like where the NBA is right now.
All right, let's look a little bit of the Western Conference because we did a lot of the East yesterday. I love Minnesota, and I think that trade helps them. I think they're deep. I like their roles. I like Minnesota. I'm a huge Anthony Edwards fan.
It's my guy. That's my guy. Kyle Neubeck's guy. Derek Bodner's guy. Your guy. He's so much fun, man. And I remember when he came out of school talking to someone I trust in the league, and it was sort of looked at as a quote unquote weaker draft. Now we know this past summer's draft was a weak draft.
No, that's weak.
And there was some concerns about Anthony Edwards' #1 overall pick. Does he love the game enough? Does he love the game? Does he compete enough? Because it was a natural talent and he was that good. And he has come into this league and turned himself into arguably a top 5 player, definitely a top 10 player, a leader of the franchise where they just moved on from Karl Anthony Towns to send him to the East. And what I love about him is his competitiveness, the way that he barks at his opponents, doesn't care who it is opposite him. Sometimes it's going to get him in trouble, like it did in the Western Conference Finals, where he said, "Yeah, I'm going to guard Kyrie Irving." Now, you like for your guy to also step up to that challenge and take on that individual matchup to try to slow down the guy that could be the best player in the series, even though we know Luka Doncic's teammate is right there. Kyrie Irving has that. We've seen it before where he has hit the big shot to win a championship. He's done it for years in the NBA. So Anthony Edwards is fun, man. I think he's good for the game. Again, the fact that the way that he has turned himself into a two-way player as a defensive player now, and bought in as a defensive player, where most guys who are that scorer, they don't want to go on the other end and try to defend and give their effort on that side of the ball. They want to conserve that energy for when they get back down the other end of the floor, so they can go ahead and put up their points, get their shots off, and get to their game average. He is fun. He is good. He is talented. He's an all NBA player. Of course, he's an all-star. And soon enough, he's probably going to be the face of Team USA when we get to 2028 for the Olympics.
All right, so let's go. A couple other teams are interesting. Houston, OKC. I mean, those two teams fascinate me, both of them.
Starting with OKC, it's not even interesting at this point. They're the best team in the West.
Yeah.
They're the best team in the West. They're loaded. They didn't lose anything. They added Hartenstein and Caruso, shedding Josh Giddey. So losing Josh Giddey, but you still pick up a player that probably fits best in Caruso. And then Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, he's going to be out for a while because of the injury. But talking to you and JP and VG and saying this on our show, on the PHLY Sixers show, how much I felt he was so important to the New York Knicks. We saw it firsthand in the first round matchup against the Sixers. So for them now to add a big man, to go with Chet Holmgren, to take some of that pressure off of him, where he can come in and just be a guy that they want to use at the 4 spot sometimes. When Hartenstein goes to the bench, he can slide over to the 5, where it's a more favorable matchup with some of the more, the smaller centers, if you will, with not as much beef to him as Hartenstein has, where he doesn't have to continue to wrestle with those dudes all the time on the low block. I like everything. Bringing back Wiggins, signing him to an extension. Isaiah Joe getting his extension. Good for him, by the way. And then you look at Kason, who's a second-year point guard, who's going to come in now, and the pressure, again, is not going to be on him all the time to be that secondary ball handler when he comes off the bench, because you do have Caruso, who can be a two-way guard in that sense. OKC is fun. And then when you go to Houston, Ime Udoka has a stacked team.
They're good.
Now,
They're
They
good.
are really good. They are really good. So good that they're number 3 overall pick. I don't even know where he fits in Reed Shepherd just yet, because you have Cam Whitmore in front of him with Jalen Green getting the extension. Fred VanVleet is going to start. And they have just a number of players that can play on that basketball team. I believe Aaron Holiday even re-signed to be the backup point guard there again. So Reed Shepherd can shoot. He's really good. It's going to take him some time, though. I think just to crack through some of those names that they have, because of how good they are for what they do have. Tari Eason, who's a player who barely can stay on the floor. He's a talented front court player as well. Up here in Şengün, he was a candidate to be an all-star.
Yeah, before he got hurt.
Did not make it. And before he got hurt, he signed his extension yesterday as well. They have a really good team. So I'm very curious to see what they do with year 2 of Ime Udoka at the helm, and how much talent he has on that squad.
All right, then you got the 2 mainstays, Denver and Dallas.
Yeah, the Denver part, I'm very, very interested, because you lose 2 years in a row. I'm not breaking any news here. We've talked about it. You lose Bruce Brown 1 year, and you lose Kentavious Caldwell-Pope the next year. And 2 glue guys. Is Christian Brown ready to take on that role? Is Julian Strawther ready to take a leap there? Is Watson ready to take a step up in his level of play to carve out a role where you are now developing these young players, where they're able to step in and play that type of basketball that those 2 veterans did to help them win a championship? And then, of course, last season, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope just still being Kentavious Caldwell-Pope with that team. They have their core, but even with their core, Jamal Murray tends to disappear from time to time, whether it's injury or getting into shape too late, not knocking down the shots, and then not doing anything on the other end defensively. He wasn't very good, and I know he was banged up in that Western Conference semifinal matchup, but they had Minnesota in the Game 7, and they were up by double digits, and he did not do his part either in there to help them secure that victory and advance to the Western Conference Finals. So this is going to be, I want to see what Michael Malone does with this team now that he has to incorporate some of these younger players. And then the Russell Westbrook part. Who knows how that's going to work? Even though Nikola Jokic wanted him there, does it fit? Does it match? I don't know.
Go ahead.
I mean, I'm just like, Is Phoenix just an also-ran at this point? They're not even in competition or talk about being any kind of a contender with
Oh,
players and payroll?
I think they're in there, man, with changing the coach, even though I don't think it was Vogel's fault. I think they like Budenholzer better. They'll listen to his message a little bit more. Also, getting a steal with Tyus Jones so late in free agency, getting him on like a 1-year deal, a veterans minimum to come in there and run the point guard position as a starter. Bradley Beal and Devin Booker were their point guards a year ago. Just wasn't going to work. Now, even though Devin Booker has experience playing the point guard for the Phoenix Suns, doesn't mean he should. They're going to have the ball in their hands, all three of them, including Kevin Durant. But to actually have a starting point guard on their roster to help settle things down, to calm things down, and also be an unselfish guy at the point guard position where he's not worried about his points. He's just looking to get these guys going, but can knock down the shot, can defend, can break down a defender and get to the basket and finish. They have a really good team. Bringing back Royce O'Neal as another wing player that not worried about his, looking to be a two-way guy as a 3-and-D type of player to knock down the shots from the perimeter and then defend and pick up the best player on the other end. And if we're to talk about Olympic Joel Embiid and how important it is, there's the same thing factor in for Devin Booker. After he was one of the top 5, top 6 players on that Team USA squad. He was in the closing lineups for Steve Kerr's team to help them win. And he showed again, ball handling and defense, not necessarily worrying about the scoring for Team USA. Does that again carry over? And once again, even though he's had success, he's been to a finals, multiple-time All-Star, all of that stuff. That team is good, VG. I like that Phoenix Suns squad and what they put together.
I like it. You know what's interesting?
And I like their rookie, Ryan Dunn, also from Virginia. I liked him in the draft, and now he's hitting his three-point shots in preseason.
Yeah, because
see if it carries over in the regular season. Yeah, he can definitely play defense.
Dallas is interesting too, though. They made that trade last year with Gafford, which I loved, and I love Lively. I think he's a nice. I love him. I think he's a real active player.
Yeah, nice center rotation there, and then the PJ Washington part last year also when he was brought in with Daniel Gafford. Now I do have questions about Klay Thompson. He's not coming in there to be an all-star anymore, but I do have my questions. I think many people, most of us do, have questions about Klay Thompson, where he fits in. Can he still knock down
those three?
30,
I know.
38%.
Yeah. Because he's going to have looks all day long. So he's just, can he knock it down consistently? That's going to come down to.
Now, we would probably lean more yes than no, but we also saw it in Golden State where it was more no than yes, which is why they didn't want to pay him the money, and then he goes on to Dallas. But they are good. And getting to the finals this time, and like Luka Doncic and company did last year, they got off to a rocky start. You have to, hat tip to them for what they did, making that trade at the deadline, helping turn around things, because they were not good the first half of the season. They were looked at as, you can't pay Kyrie Irving 3 years and $100+ million, and Luka Doncic coming in again, overweight. And what are some of these other players doing? Why did you have Grant Williams and give him that money, which is why they traded him for in that deal for PJ Washington? But they got it right. So can they use that and leverage themselves this year at the start where they don't get off to such a slow start? Can they put their best foot forward early and get things going? They signed Jaden Hardy as a bench player yesterday to an extension, their draft pick, to a 3-year extension. So it looks like they have the right ingredients. And Jason Kidd has turned out to be a pretty good coach in the NBA. And I do like them to be in the mix in that top 5, top 6 right from the start, and to not have such a snail's pace start like they did a year ago.
It's going to be fun, man. This whole year it's going to be great. I'll ask you this: how many does Dalton Connect score tonight?
Oh man.
And you know what? It's funny because he had the 33, 35-point game, and you and I talked about it. But I don't know where he is in the rotation yet to know.
Yeah, I think he gets some run.
I think they call his number
9.
9. I would give him under. Because I just also don't know how good the Lakers are. Right? Anthony Davis and LeBron James, yes, and D'Angelo Russell can run a team, But everywhere else, they're a question mark. Kim Rui Hachimura, is he going to be all right? I don't like Jackson Hayes. I can't stand him and Christian Wood. I don't get even one of them. So those two don't work for me. And Dalton Connect, I do think he should have been the Sixers pick on draft night. Made that very clear on draft night. I like Jeremy Kane, but I do think Dalton Connect should have been the pick. That 35-point outburst that he had did open some eyes, and I want to see. So I would say the under, but that could be 8 points.
Well, here's why I say over. Are you ready? Because I think Minnesota wins by 30. And he gets a lot of run in garbage time.
Yeah, because if he's out there with Jaden McDaniels,
well, that's what I'm talking about. Like I'm thinking
he's gonna get locked up.
I was more like joking around in that I think that Minnesota gives margin, and then he winds up putting up 15 because he plays the whole fourth quarter.
That's fair. Fair. Dalton Connect, he's gonna be a player in the league. He's gonna be good.
That's fun. All right, brother. Listen, enjoy the hoops tonight. We love you. The third day of Devon tomorrow to look at Sixers. You're on 3 o'clock today?
3 o'clock today. We're doing another season preview. We did our Sixers season preview yesterday. This afternoon, we go around the NBA.
Love it, man. We can talk all day long, man. It's so much fun. All right. You're the best, buddy. We love you.
See you guys. Love you.
Devon Givens. The 3 days of Devon talking the association.
Got the association hat on.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
seriously,
cool.
man.
All right. Time now for the back in the day, the Rite Aid back in the day moment. What do you got? Going back.
Oh, go ahead, VJ.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day with Rite Aid. Yeah!
You got down, my man.
All right, so I'm still in I hate New York phase, so I wanted to take it back to a Philly, New York moment. All right, so we're going back this day in 2001. The Philadelphia Eagles with Donovan McNabb, they snapped a 9-game losing streak against the New York Giants, and they won at what was Giants Stadium back then. And on the late game heroics by then quarterback Donovan McNabb. And here's a little clip to show you guys that last drive.
They grabbed Mitchell's face mask. And the difference by accepting the penalty is 22 yards in the Eagles' favor.
Right.
Wow.
Look at this.
All right, so this is a 9-minute clip, so we won't show everything. But
all right, listen, that's good. I go for that.
James Thrash catches the game winner on the sideline. They had to go with a little bit of a review, but that was a big moment for Donovan. Still early in his career.
It was. It was a big deal.
Snapping that streak.
It was. All right, that's going to do it for us. Everybody, have a great day, man. We love you guys. Thanks for hanging. We'll see you in the morning.
We all silly like the mayor.